Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for SSSS Gridman, Episode 7.
So,
nice.
A few big things happened last episode.
A few!
So, Akane's a god.
Akane is the god of this world.
God of this world. Kind of a big deal. Has some ramifications.
Yeah.
To
Imbued with power, probably based on Chief Over Justice Lagan.
Or something, somehow, yeah. But Chief Over Justice Lagan is manifesting himself.
Which is actually kind of terrifying.
Given that we've seen the OP and he gets a lot bigger and scarier there. And then we also have this other kaiju that
revealed all this info to Yuta
about Akane, yeah. And then on top of that, we also have Auntie knowing that Yuta is Gridman, but then Yuta is very much human, so he might be a little bit
reconcile that whole thing
with Akane because she said, he's Gridman, go kill him, you know.
Yeah.
So that relationship is getting even more tenuous. But yeah, this is
the turning point. Because now that we've had the reveal of everyone knowing which side they're on, you could say that everyone knows where they are amidst the battle lines of this situation.
Yes, one might indeed say that.
Yeah, and now that that is made clear, we have the remaining half of this show still to go.
Right.
You can't just do
can't just go back to the episodic stuff anymore. Yeah,
there is a progression towards an ending now that is kind of definite in terms of where it will be.
But how far they take it
because
the thing is that now since we're dealing with reality manipulation stuff, like
we said it, reality manipulation,
then that's how many layers do they want to break, if any? So yeah,
y'all, this is crazy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah, pass this info around. Oh
my god.
They don't believe him at all. Yeah. And you do know that Akatsumi, whatever buddy's name is. Yes.
He's like, oh my god.
Wow. Oh. Huh.
That's interesting.
Wow. Do you know that I know that you know?
Yeah.
You would ask her directly?
No, you should just say.
Oh, there's Auntie. Ah! Oh my god, yes, school antics. Oh, why did you say that? Crap.
Don't you know I'm a kaiju?
Yep. Ah!
Food.
Yep, she's gonna step. Yep.
But yeah, she's a lot more passive. It's funny though that the sandwich.
Whoa! Is this just what he's been doing this whole time, or is this new?
I think this is new.
Yep. Thank you, Max. Well done. Yep.
Just in general, or about this in particular?
In general. Okay.
あの子にもう一度会えれば明日こそ新庄さんに確かめてみよう。
Tomorrow is not coming, my friend. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
なんで新庄さん
おかえり、グリッドマンくん。
Oh, dang. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, shoot.
And the anime girl shows up in the protagonist's room and says, I'm so thirsty.
だって私、
神様だから。
あれ知ってたんだ。話が早いじゃん。響くんの匂いがする。
Oh.
こっちに来ない？
Oh boy.
Oh my.
僕もって言ってんの。私の仲間になってよ。
Wow. Why?
What's the deal with
Yeah.
そっちには行けない。やらなきゃいけないこと
Oh, those eyes are like
この町には
one step
大
from
事な友
Psycho.
達がいるから。
送ってってよ。夜遅いんだから。
Oh my
この町はさ、
gosh.
余計なものだらけだよね。そうなの。
Oh,
余
like
計なも
people.
のを怪獣で壊すの。どうやって怪獣を作るの？
yeah.
本当に新庄さんの心が怪獣を生み出すの？
知りたいでしょ。
I'm not telling you that. Yeah.
今から紹介したい人がいるんだけど。
Over Justice
Oh,
Lagan. Here we
okay.
go.
まだでしょ？
Wow. Wow.
ここって。
Mm.
入ろう。
Wow.
豚バラ青菜チャーハン
I love how she spun this into a date.
この担々黒ごまだれ餃子の6個のやつと
It's a lot of food.
トマトジュースってあります？
さすがに毒とか入ってたりしないよ。
No, bro.
If she's
She
the god of
likes you.
this,
言ってる通りだよ。ここの家の子、私の怪獣にお願いしてスペシャルドッグ。ほんとないわって思って。
Yep.
覚えてない？
じゃなくって、それだけ？そんなことで？
Oh, dang. Alexis Carrot.
遅れて申し訳ない。
宇宙人。
oh right, yeah, that's the obvious
さ
explanation.
っき聞いてたじゃん。どうやって怪獣を作るのかって。
茜くんがデザインしているものを
Yeah,
ただ残している
yeah.
に過ぎないよ。
Oh,
Oh
dang.
boy.
ほう、これは美味しそうだ。
何が目的なんだ？
And I love how the guy just
Those
doesn't
don't
notice.
Well, I don't think you can see him.
Right.
遠慮することはないぞ。
怪獣？
Oh, now Auntie is gonna be the one that she hates because.
でも
私がそう言うんだからそうに決まってるでしょ。
Oh,
Whoa.
oh.
Oh, this is new. Wait.
Oh, maybe this is why he was late. Remember he said there was something that came up.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, because he needs to keep Akane. He needs to basically take care with how her internal state is so that she keeps doing this stuff. So he can't let her be happy.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, wait, what is that?
アレクシス、あれ
Yeah. Oh, dang.
Wow.
ユダ。
Okay.
ごめん。ちょっと人と会ってて。
Now that we've got our third impact, you know, like, or I guess this would be second impact, you know. What's
This really changes things.
why is it here?
That was too easy.
Well, the real question is about the rebuilding of. Oh. Oh, it's on. It's on. Here we go.
Okay. And the color scheme is in the color scheme of Alexis. All right. Cool.
That's a drill.
Yeah.
アンチくん持ち込み企画の怪獣だ。
ア
Oh.
ンチに怪獣を作らせたの？
だってアンチくんは君よりもグリッドマンを憎んでいるよ。憎しみが強いほど強い怪獣が生まれるからね。
Oh. Oh, whoa, whoa.
Okay.
And it just reforms.
Yeah.
Well, this is problem.
飛べるやつが行ってこいよ。
そう、それが確実だ。
いい考えだ。
What is with these
目
moments?
に行ってんだ。
Ah!
俺か。
Okay.
All right, it's time to fly. Oh, jet boots. All right,
Cool.
and then a fighter jet kind of thing on the back.
Okay.
That one actually looks like the most practical of all the ones that have combined thus far. Yeah. I wonder if people are going to remember this now, because this is something that...
Maybe.
So you're going to need to destroy the secondary, you know, bit once it reforms. Oh.
Is it some kind of illusion or something, or?
No, the idea is that this world has limits to where it can be, right? So maybe going above it. And now where's it reforming? Quickly fire there. Oh! Oh!
Gotcha.
Okay. That's legit. That looks
Yeah.
really cool. Oh, that's legit.
This makes me think
This
of
is
the
making me think of Fate Zero. Yes, I know. Oh, dang. So that looks like a motherboard. Just gonna say.
Yeah.
So is this whole
Or
thing
at least
inside a
motherboard
computer?
aesthetic.
Yeah.
本当に宇宙人がいたと
It
したら
reminds me of Tron, basically. Oh, good track. Oh!
Okay.
Nice!
Cool.
All right. Bisected.
Yeah, this is definitely like a
Whoa!
very Fate Zero feeling thing.
Auntie running away, though.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Save him! Save him!
やはりアンチ君ではダメだったようだね。
Oh, Akane's gonna be like, I could have told you that.
作ることができるのは本当の人間である君だけだ。
Oh, a true human.
神様とか宇宙人とか
You're in a video game.
Gods, aliens, and
要素が多すぎんだろ
whispers. Wait.
この町に迫る危機の根源は
I still want to call him
新庄さんの
Chief
心
Over
が
Justice
怪獣を生
Lagan.
み出す
Yeah, Chief Over Justice Lagan
戦
sounds
うだけが使命じゃない
much better.
俺たちとグリッドマンにはやらなければならないことが
I feel like Alexis Carib could be like an anagram.
ち
See
ょっ
if
とい
anything
いか
comes
い
out normally.
よく頑張ったね。
Oh my
Oh.
god!
Well, there's Trigger with liking to take away eyes.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, at least one kaiju will join Gridman
Yeah.
eventually.
Huh.
Dang.
I'm very curious to
I
see
hope-
how this goes.
I hope that that's permanent. And I'm not
Me
meaning
too.
that in a sadistic way, but I'm hoping
Yeah.
that it has a permanency so
Right.
that
Because consequences,
Auntie,
you know.
yes,
Yeah.
consequence, but that Auntie actually like changes sides.
Mhm.
Because eventually, even Akane should change sides too.
Right. But the question is, will it become something where it's like, oh, it's too late, you know,
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
Right. Oh.
Because the thing is, how much is she actually the god of this world if she has to go through Chief Over Justice Lagan?
Right. My thought is here's how you can spin this. I'm trying to figure out the computer thing. So, Chief Over Justice Lagan is basically the game's like, you know, internal code basically.
Sure.
She is at her computer fumbling with the code and creating new things into the game.
Yeah.
And then basically resetting it and stuff. So
Sure.
she's just got an access point into the game.
Mhm.
And Chief Over Justice, you know, Alexis Carib is basically like
Right.
the thing that
Yeah.
you know she's talking to in order to make that happen. But the thing is, in some ways, maybe he's worried about, you know, I'll save it for the discussion. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got kind of the new direction
Uh-huh.
for the story,
Yep.
given that we now have the reveal.
It took a little while for them to get there because they doubted him at first, but
Mhm.
they went through
Yes.
that fairly quickly.
I'm glad that they went through that
Yeah.
quickly as well.
And because the thing that I was really excited that they did is they did the confrontation with Yuta and
Yes.
Akane, because that
Mhm.
sheds a lot of new light on this situation.
Yes.
Because that's a great point. Like, I didn't think about the fact that she gave the sandwich to Yuta and then the other girls squished it, and that's what made her mad.
Well-
But the fact that she was giving it to Yuta, that's...
Well, yes.
You know.
Yes. Wait,
So-
so you... Let me clarify here. It wasn't that they smashed the sandwich that you didn't clue into. It was the fact that it was a gift for Yuta showing that she liked him.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was mentioning that, but
Like, well, I mean,
or you didn't buy the fact that she liked him.
I figured that she liked him. Right.
Right.
But
okay.
that's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was
evidence of that.
That was evidence of it
Gotcha.
that was introduced at the very beginning.
At the very beginning. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Which means it's a much bigger deal. So
yes, there were a couple things that they did show special attention to make sure that they clarified this was why they died. Because they died usually within an episode from their thing happening that
or in the
pissed
same
off
episode,
Akane. Or the same episode, yeah.
Mhm.
And that was the first one, but there were a lot of things like that happened, you know, in that whole vein of things.
Yep.
But one of the things that I feel like is something that we did clue into was that Akane did like, at the very least, Yuta. And the whole thing of why she's trying to get with him now that everyone has been reset is probably something to do with the fact that the memories of what Yuta did before this whole thing are fuzzy, because I think there was
Akane
some kind of
gave
confession.
him amnesia?
Or... Yes, Akane gave everyone in some ways maybe amnesia.
Or specifically Yuta, because maybe he chose Rika?
Yes, I think it's because Yuta chose Rika, and that's why the amnesia thing is even a plot line at all. But there was a part in this episode where Akane said, "I don't remember." Was that how the way things are set up? I don't remember.
Could you bring that back up?
Yeah, I'll bring that back up.
Because that's very interesting. Because something with the way that it was going, it made me question whether Akane knew about the amnesia. But if she's the god of this world, then that seems like that would be the case. But it could also be something where potentially, Overjustice Lagan gave Yuta amnesia, and he's been going around Akane. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And she kicks him. But she has this, like, "You're too loud. We're at school, you know."
Yeah, it lacks the usual venom.
Yes. But it is petty. She steps on the sandwich.
Yep.
She says, "Don't do anything stupid again," and then walks away. But she could have been mocking him by saying, "Oh, is that how it's set up? I don't remember." But I don't think that's how it was delivered. I think it was delivered in a, "Was that how it's set up?
Okay.
I don't remember." Now, just putting this out here. If we have a supposition that Gridman and Alexis Carib, or what have you, whatever that character is.
Lagan.
Yeah, Chief Overjustice Lagan is.
Yeah.
They have some kind of battle. They have some kind of conflict between them that goes beyond the memory thing.
Right.
Who's to say that when this whole event, when things shifted and Akane became the god of this world, because there's probably a point, an origin point where she was not and then she was.
Right.
Who's to say that she has memories from before she was the god of this world? Alexis Carib could have come to her and been like, "Well, you know, good morning. You're the god of this world. How might I serve you?" And he basically spins this whole thing of how this is going to go a certain way. And he tells her maybe certain things that are helpful. Or maybe the way she had this set up, she remembers certain things about how Yuta is someone that she likes. Or they've spent a lot of time in this world and she just came back to liking him again because, yeah, if she liked him before, she would like him again. There's no real difference with that.
Sure.
But there is this petty aspect of Akane where she...
Right. I feel like the memory thing was more of her making a jab at Auntie rather than actually stating that she didn't remember things.
Right. Kind of a thing of, "Oh, was that some promise I made to you?" I don't remember making that deal.
Right, exactly. Your priorities are not my priorities, and my priorities are what matter.
That's very possible too, yeah. It's a little simpler that way too.
Right,
so
and
it
it
makes
would,
more sense.
and it would feel kind of weird if you were god of the world, but you didn't have memories of something because then that would because then that connotates that there's a limit to your power, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and if it's something where, like, it could totally be something where Over Justice Lagan is basically feeding her ego, so
Oh,
that
he
she
totally
believes,
is.
because he totally is. And how
Yes.
far does that go? Is it
How
just
far
so
does
that
that
she
go?
believes
Right.
that she's the god of this world?
Mhm.
And when it's actually him doing everything, and he needs her somehow in order to do what he's doing, but he's the one pulling the strings, or potentially something where he's feeding her ego so that she continues to do what he wants because
Yes.
he doesn't actually have as much control over what happens, but like, it's her deciding, like, okay, this is what it could be. The hatred in her heart is what makes the kaiju more powerful.
Sure.
Right? Because
That's
they
a
mentioned,
mechanic they just mentioned.
they just
here.
mentioned, right?
So it has
And-
to be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm getting this feeling of like, sort of the feeding on the energies of the troubled schoolgirls, right?
Right.
Kind of a thing.
That makes sense with the whole mental
Yep.
arc that she's supposed to
Exactly.
be going on
Right.
as she is a broken individual.
And that's why he's antagonistic towards her now, and will end up being later on, because he wants her to stay in this state, because that's when he can, that's when he
Yes.
gets power, right?
Right.
And that
so
also,
she's feeding him over the course of this time.
exactly. And that also goes to show that maybe this
Maybe.
is something where Gridman defeated him,
Yes.
right? And he was weakened,
Right.
but now he's been mulching off of her as
Right.
this parasite, basically. And like he was shown, and he was pretty big this episode. Now, the
Mhm.
fact that he's revealing himself now, I feel like that the fact that it's now and not earlier, I feel
Yes.
like cannot be overlooked.
Definitely.
And the fact that in the OP he's so much bigger, this feels like sort of like the monster in my closet, the
Yep.
little white lie kind of a thing that
Mhm.
ends up getting out of control, right? And that can also be why it ends up tying itself directly to Akane's character development,
Mhm.
because once she basically resolves that, then he won't have something to feed off of.
So in some ways he will not need her anymore
Right.
either.
Yeah, he won't need her anymore because he could become self-sustaining, but then there's also the potential
Oh.
Nihilus thing,
Yeah.
where it's the, we can all join up together to beat this unbeatable thing, right?
Yes, but also the idea that there's a lot of negative stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe there is a thing of real humans versus not real humans, which
Sure.
is a very plausible thing because that feels so trigger the idea of some kind of alternate reality. Now, they
Mhm.
showed a very unique style of outside world stuff once they got high
Yes.
enough into this environment, this little reality bubble, this reality
minute.
marble, if
Wait,
you will.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yep. I could totally see that being a thing. Also, well, finish what you were going to say.
Oh, I
but-
was gonna say I think this is gonna go full Tron.
Hmm.
The idea that they're
Uh-huh.
either in the TV show, like they're in Ultraman
Sure.
basically,
Uh-huh.
and this is all just episodic content of Ultraman.
Yeah.
And Akane is basically a projection of
Mhm.
the creator of the show, just
Oh, man.
getting put into this whole thing and having her emotional turmoil battle of people not liking kaiju anymore being kind of this thing of like, why don't people
Okay,
find this
uh-huh.
enjoyable anymore? So
Yeah.
she's a fan of the content that this thing is, and there's a lot of meta stuff surrounding, wait, this is just like Ultraman, and
Mhm.
that whole awareness thing. But the idea of it potentially being the other version, which is where it's Tron really thing, and it's a video game,
Mhm.
and there's a player character, and their avatar is essentially
Okay.
the kaiju that they're controlling here and they're playing with, but she's gotten the admin keys or what have you,
Sure.
and is messing with the game and doing it
So,
kind of to
uh-huh.
escape from her emotional
Right.
battle internally, and making
So-
this make-believe world where she can vindictively inflict judgment on those
Right.
she dislikes.
Crazy thought. I have
Yeah.
no idea how they would end up pulling this off as far as the details of it and the mechanics,
Okay.
but we already have in the show thus far
Mhm.
an example and precedent of people going into machines.
Yes.
And that's with the access flash and all that,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if this entire world was one of those, basically?
Yeah.
Like they're in that right
Mhm.
now, right? And then it could be something where they're fighting over the soul of the Gridman, whatever thing that is inside there.
Yep.
Or whatever.
And that's why Akane is the god of this world, because it's her world, her
Sure.
machine, her
Yeah.
soul that we're in, her
right.
mind, or what have you.
And Over Justice Lagan and Gridman maybe they had some epic battle from beyond, and then they basically came into this world
to do battle here.
For whatever reason, whether it being whether one fled in here and the other chased them in here,
sure,
or something,
or one of them is a projection of some dark or good side of
they're sort of like a balance thing that exists. Yep.
There's so many cool things they can do with this now.
The tough thing comes into play when you deal with the other humans that exist in this world. Are they actual people or not, right? Now, if the fake is so close to the real thing, then does it really matter if it's a fake or not? But if they end up breaking through the walls of this world into the reality beyond, is it something where this is just a parallel of what's outside there?
And then we'll have true tokusatsu, because then it will all be a live action thing, and then the 3D things will portal into the live action world, and they'll be doing battle, and we'll see, and that's
what I was gonna say is, if it's something where Yuta and Rika and all those people exist out there, and this is just
their projection of it from Akane's mind. That's totally possible.
But then it's like those are kind of separate characters at that point. So then how do you reconcile them? I don't know. I have no idea. But there were a couple obvious budget cutting things that they did here. One in particular that I absolutely loved. One that was sort of like the one with the guy, I forget his name. The flying one,
Flying Vitter or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares? One of the
maybe that's his name, Vitter. But when he was just standing there, and it was just like, and then eventually they just did the tiny little lip flap on the same frame. It was like, okay, I see what you're doing, Trigger. But when they did the whole thing with Auntie ambushing Yuta at school, and them doing the crash, going down the stairs, across the hallway and everything, like that was great. I loved that.
Fun,
that was very creatively done, and it communicated it very effectively.
Yes. Props need to be given out there.
And Auntie running back to like get the 2 sandwiches, before he runs off. That was great.
Yes, there are a lot of moments in this episode that I feel like elevated the story to what it's truly going to be, which is the war for Akane's soul's well-being.
Right.
That's a lot of possessives in there, but basically the idea that Akane is not well.
Yep.
By the end of this series, she either needs to be well
or be on the path to
being well. And the thing is that this is my final thing about the whole juxtaposition of reality versus the world that we're in, this little marble reality. I still think that marble thing, they keep, it is the most like that annoyingly obvious thing that they keep pointing at, and I'm like, why?
This could literally be a Men in Black thing where that's the next level down. Like that's the next reality.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But here's the thing. Or
maybe it's
I'm still gonna bring this up like every single time here. But even though there is a house where we see Akane coming out of with or going to with Auntie being at the front gate and what have you, here's something I want to posit to you. In the artistic expression of when you have a story that involves the inner workings of someone's mind, soul, being, what have you. One of the best ways to display that in a psychological sense, I would say, is to showcase their room, the place where they spend the most time. And it's not even the place
to clean her room.
It's not even the place where they spend the most time, but it's also the time where they are at their most vulnerable.
Right. There's
no place where they
facades.
Remove their burdens. There's no facades and everything else there. The thing is, we never see her actually enter this room. We just see her suddenly in the room.
Okay.
There's no transition point from where we see her going up the stairs of her house or anything else like that.
Okay.
Now,
okay. I mean, we got when she in episode 2, I think it was, where it was revealed how psycho she was. We did get her like entering the room.
Yeah, it's just the door opening.
That
doesn't count for me as being something where it's her entering in terms of a transition point from the world that is the reality marble to whatever the room is. I'm talking about it in a representative thing of with regards to her psyche and all this. That is, in a weird way, the only true world for Akane. In what she probably represents it, Yuta is probably the only real thing about this world that she cares about, right? She cares
Probably.
0 bits about Auntie.
But she might care about Rika. That is a possibility.
Well, yes, that's because of the ED, though.
Right.
And that's not actually because of what's happening in the story. So I want to separate the two.
There were points where it seemed like Rika was doing something that she didn't like, but she didn't lash out against Rika.
That's true. Yes, they were probably friends at a point before this as well, and that's what the ED is implying. And at the very least, there might have even been a love connection there. Who knows? But the thing is, I want to focus on the idea of what her room represents psychologically.
All right.
That is the only real environment for Akane.
Sure, where she can be herself, she can have all her figures,
where her creativity comes from as well.
Sure. Okay,
what is that juxtaposed with? All the trash, all this garbage here.
Right. Yeah, and the implications for that, as far as her character arc, are very, very straightforward.
Well, I think they're becoming more and more literal now, as we get. Because there's the obvious symbolism there, but I think there's the literal interpretation of how that connects to this fake world. That,
well, okay. Here's
that she's a god of, essentially.
Well, here's a way to think about it. With the state of your room, right? Yeah. Oftentimes it'll be messy. Now, it's perfectly within your power and in your best interest to keep it clean, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
because whatever. Just,
yeah,
they don't want to bother with it.
Yep.
But if Akane is the god of this world, she could just snap her fingers or give an order to Over Justice Lagan, and suddenly it's clean.
But Over Justice Lagan is only viewable through a screen in this room. We've never seen him in this room. This is only a place where Akane is.
Okay.
My point is that she doesn't have control over this room. It is not a part of this world. It is a separate environment.
Okay.
Because it is revealing her internal state. In some ways, she escapes the room to do the kaiju stuff.
Or maybe that's just okay. And if it's a literal limitation, cool. I find it more interesting if it's a psychological limitation.
I'm sure it's that too. I'm sure it's that too.
Because in a lot of ways, I feel like her whole thing with the kaiju, right? The fact that it's not okay for a high school girl to like kaiju and all that stuff and things like that.
Sure.
That maybe this is the one thing that she doesn't want to be touched. She's like, I'm not going to control this. I'm not going to whatever. This is where the real me can be.
Right. She is the god of this world, so she is at least neutral about the status of things. She is not unhappy about the status of things that she has control over as a god of the world.
Right. Basically. Because that's one of the things that
otherwise she would change it.
Right. Which and again, we don't know exactly, because like in something like Haruhi, they make it very clear that it's like a literal in every sense of the word, like the god of this world, right?
Right.
Whereas with Akane, they say that, but there are things that make it seem like that's not the case.
Exactly.
Because the thing is that if you have something where the god is frustrated by something, then there should be like instantaneous resolution of the issue. Now, if she can only do it through kaiju, then okay, that is a limitation that makes her not the god of this world.
Right. Because in some ways she has to act with Alexis Carib, which is the partnership that she is in, and she freely admits that he's the one that ends up making all the kaiju, and he's like, no, don't give me that much responsibility, because I'm going to make
and
my
she
play
still
eventually.
Kicks the computer and breaks the screen. She's done that multiple times so far. So, what exactly are the limits and what we can garner and like basically infer about her own internal state because of the state of the world that is not so clear.
Right. What I think it is that the kaiju is a very blunt instrument.
Sure.
It's not something delicate. So at school, she doesn't want to just exercise her power constantly.
Sure.
She would rather things happen, I would say, a little bit more naturally. She wants her status quo that she's created at the school, because she likes the way things are, to be the way it is. Otherwise, she would change it. So she doesn't need Auntie coming in as this chaos ball being like, Gridman, and she's like, stop it. It's my environment. I'm God. I control this. Yes, you can have Gridman and stuff, but I will control that.
But I'm just so done with you. Like,
and she's been done with him in terms of the annoyance
For
of
a
that
while.
for a long time.
Mhm.
So in some ways she can't have resolution to her story, her character arc, until he's had resolution. Or this could get really upsetting, is that when Alexis realizes that maybe she has had some revolution, he will take the hatred that Auntie has for Gridman, the irrational, ununderstanding hatred, and then leech off of that.
Oh, okay.
then-
Yeah, I like it. And then if they have Akane's arc get resolved, the thing is that she still has to patch things up with Auntie because that was something that she started.
She
right?
did.
Right? She caused all this to happen. She spurned Auntie again and again. Yeah, that could be something that they do. There's a lot of paths they can take this, and I absolutely love it because all the paths that I see are very much one, there's 9 of them, but
Wow.
I'll just talk about paths I just had to
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
But-
I know.
but that they're all character focused, right?
Uh-huh.
It's all about the growth of characters and how
Yes.
these relationships between the characters can either resolve or spiral out of control.
Yep.
Because spirals are powerful. But yeah. But as for what exactly they're going to do, who knows?
I think she's going to really like drill into focus though exactly what she wants Alexis to do.
And there's going to come a time where her and Alexis and her and Auntie cut ties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it's based on
There's bad blood between them.
yeah what Alexis combines with, and specifically how our heroes are able to punch through tomorrow and punch through to tomorrow.
Well, the thing is that eventually there's going to come a point where Auntie grits his teeth and stands up to Akane, but when will that happen? Who knows? And
Who knows?
what the fallout will be, who can say?
So yeah, this was a good episode. This is an elevation of quality in terms of the psychological storytelling that this is wanting to do. And if it keeps escalating like that all the way to the end of this, there could be some amazing things that they do with the ending of this show. So I am really excited.
I've been very surprised with, given like the how short this show is.
Yeah.
And given the kind of studio that Trigger is,
Right.
how measured the pacing has been. Because the thing is,
there's the obvious little quality cuts here and there. And that's okay.
Yeah, like episode 5 was that fluff. Sure. But they make sure to hit notes along the themes and the branches basically, and all the things that they're wanting to set up. So I'm just excited. I didn't expect there to be this level of like build up for a one core show.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Because in some ways it's still a lot of potential, but things like, actual things happening where Alexis basically is like, here's your reward. Slices off his eyes.
Yeah.
You're right. Trigger and eyes. What is the deal? But that is probably permanent. That is probably going to be something where he's aware that Akane could change that.
It's going to leave
but
him
that
scarred. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, here we are. There's quite a few more episodes still left,
Yes.
which means they can get a long ways into this story and go even further beyond. So, y'all, if you want to see that next episode's reaction discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about these stories, about anime in general, get involved with the community. There's a lot of fun events and stuff happening. And also talk with Jake about his book that he just published.
Yes, my sci-fi novel Battle Lines is still available. I don't know why I messed up that word. For purchase on Amazon. The link is in the description down below, and there might even be some signed copies left. I'm not sure.
Very
but
cool.
yeah, so go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.